So I want to show you guys just kind of a panorama real quick. To the left right here, this is Barlow, Knoll. That is where Major General Jubal Early's Confederates smashed Union defenders here on the afternoon of July the 1st, and that led to the collapse of the Union line. Right in here is the Carlisle Road. Then you have the Mummasboro Road. You have Cups Hill right over here in the distance. Right over here is Gettysburg College. And then this is Cemetery Hill. So, pretty cool. Infantry and artillery of the Union 11th Corps formed in the valley right down here on the afternoon of July the 1st to defend against Rhodes and Early's Confederate divisions, which were attacking them from the left and rear. By 4 p.m., the Confederate tide swept through this area, and it scooped up 3,000 Union prisoners on the way. 9,000 Union soldiers were killed, and 6,800 Confederate soldiers were killed, wounded, or missing. This was total on this action on July the 1st. Both sides paid a heavy price, but the Southerners had won the day because of everything that occurred right in this valley. General Robert E. Lee, the Confederate commander, believed his gains were here, and he hoped for victory. The Federals retreated through the streets of Gettysburg just in this direction, and they went on to Cemetery Hill and Cups Hill, which you see right through here. And despite their defeat on the first day, they held a strong defensive position right there on the following day. So let's continue leading you into July the 2nd, shall we? Just to kind of show you what we're working with right here. This is Barlow's Knoll. This is where we are all at right now. And where this is just east of, I think east of Barlow's Knoll. But this is the valley that I was just showing you, and at the top you can see the observation tower. So I just wanted to show you a view from the vehicle here, from the 13th New York Independent Light Battery, which is Wheeler's Artillery Brigade of the 11th Corps, where they were on the day of July the 1st. And this is looking back up towards the farm and towards Oak Ridge. So pretty cool little view. Let's continue on. So we are here on Barlow's Knoll, and when Union General Oliver Otis Howard learned of the death of Reynolds shortly after he arrived in Gettysburg, being the senior officer in the field, he took command. His command style, however, was much different than Reynolds, and Howard established his headquarters on Cemetery Hill and attempted to direct the course of the battle from a distance. When 11th Corps arrived, he ordered 2 divisions to extend the line of the 1st Corps north of Gettysburg, and he kept his remaining division under General Adolf von Stachauer, not saying it right, I know, but he was German, and a reserve company on Cemetery Hill. Now, Francis Barlow worked his way up from private to general and was gravely wounded on Barlow Knoll. He was called the Boy General. Carl Schwartz moved his 3rd Division to link up the 1st Corps unit, finding that the Confederates were already on Oak Hill, which is in that direction. At nearly right angles to Doubleday's men, the 1st Division under General Francis Barlow advanced to the rise of this ground right here. And this was known as Blotcher's Knoll at the time. Barlow's men were fearfully exposed in the right flank and rear when Confederate General Jubal Early's division arrived on the Harrisburg Road a short time later. The rebels were in a perfect position to roll up the Federal line. After a short but stubborn fight, Barlow's men were driven off in what is now known as Barlow's Knoll. Before long, the entire 11th Corps was driven from the field. Pretty neat. And a lot of you may ask, why are some of the cannons black and why are some this color? These cannons here are brass. The other cannons are made of iron. So brass taints, gives off a blue color. So this is a pretty neat story I found here at Barlow's Knoll. Here on Barlow's Knoll, Lieutenant Boward Wilkinson, 19, directed Battery G of the 4th U.S. Artillery from horseback. While dueling with Confederate batteries, an enemy shell mangled his right leg. According to one legend, he bound his leg and amputated it with a pocket knife. What? As shot and shell fell around him. He died that night in the makeshift hospital. If you're going to cut your own leg off in the middle of battle, you got to be one bad son of a gun, man. He cut his leg off with a pocket knife. What? Right here. He was wounded by an artillery shell and cut his leg off with a pocket knife. Now, his father, who was a correspondent for New York Times, was traveling to Gettysburg when he heard his son had been wounded. On July the 4th, he located his son's body and pinned a piece which appeared on the front of the Times that said, "My pen is heavy," he wrote, addressing those who had given the ultimate sacrifice. "Oh, you dead who at Gettysburg have baptized your blood with the second birth of freedom in America." And he apparently searched for graves until he found his son's body here in Gettysburg, and that was his dad. He cut his leg off with a pocket knife? You've got to be kidding me. Okay, so like I said, we're in a hurry, so we have to do some of these from the car. And you can't go in here anyway. But this is actually a farm that is just at the base of Barlow's Knoll. And this is called the Josiah Benner Farm. The men of John B. Gordon's brigade crossed this farm during their assault on Barlow's Knoll. So they crossed through this farm to get to Barlow's Knoll under attack. This farm was acquired by the American Battlefield Trust in 2011, and they turned it over to the National Park Service. So this is a Josiah Benner Farm, and I hope I said that right the first time, but this is a Josiah Benner Farm, and there is an artillery shell somewhere, but I've not been able to find it, lodged in the side of this house. And I'm going to put up a photo of this home as it appeared in 1890, and it still looks like it did in 1863, but the artillery shell's at the rear of the house in the wall, and we can't get back there, unfortunately. But this is the farm. All right, so many of you guys want to know, of course, about General Robert E. Lee. He was the big Southern commander during the American Civil War, and during the Battle of Gettysburg, he was the overall commander of the Confederate forces here. Where was General Robert E. Lee at? Well, he was right here in this home. This is Lee's headquarters at Gettysburg. This home was built by Michael Clarkson in the 1830s. Most likely he took the stone from the railroad cut, which we saw earlier, talking about the battle and the fight over the railroad cut, which is just right there to the right. You can kind of see the bridge. You can see a doghouse against the wall, and this is what the home looked like back then. So pretty cool to see Lee's headquarters now. This is another building I've always wanted to see here at Gettysburg. Now, you also may be asking yourself, what is this? Well, this is all that remains of the Caspar Henry Dustman's antebellum barn. And this stood here during the Battle of Gettysburg. And to give you a little idea, they've got some literature here. You can see the Thompson house just behind the clump of trees, Dustman house, Sheed's house, Dustman barn, railroad cuts right here. And this is a photo of that. This is all on the Chambersburg Pike, and this was just 1 week after a battle. And we are standing at the structure at the center, which is, let's see, right in here. So this is pretty cool. So we're standing somewhere in this vicinity, and the railroad cut was just down there. How neat. Okay, so this is Robert E. Lee's headquarters. So pretty cool. I'm standing on the porch of Robert E. Lee's headquarters. Very neat. Let's go to the next spot because we got a lot to cover and literally almost no time to do it. Let's do it. So where we are right now is the focal point of command for the Union Army. You see before me the entire battlefield for the July the 1st engagement of that morning, as Buford watched from the cupola of the Lutheran Seminary, which stands directly behind me. So this is the battlefield that he would have saw that morning. I want to give you another quick view here of what it will look like from the top of Seminary Ridge, and this is awesome. This is really, really cool to see the first morning's actions on a scale like this. So we are now in the town of Gettysburg, and this is where the Union Army was falling back to, in this location. Chambersburg Park, Chambersburg Street is to the right, and the Union Army was following this path for the most part of pushing back through the town of Gettysburg, all while still taking fire. So this is a location where all of the Union soldiers started falling back to, as we're now in the center of the town of Gettysburg. So you can imagine the Union Army pushing through this general vicinity back into Gettysburg, and then making their way through these streets while under fire, falling back to Cemetery Ridge to put up another defensive position. Why was it called Cemetery Ridge? Well, there was a cemetery there before the evergreen cemetery that we know now from where Lee could pin his Gettysburg Address and where so many of these soldiers who fell in this battle are buried. It was also a cemetery at the time. That's where they would fall back, make their defensive positions, and all along the way they were taking fire, taking artillery fire. Confederates were pushing on them. The Confederates pushed through town. The Union was firing back at them, and then we move into the actions of the second day of the Battle of Gettysburg. So guys, a lot of trucks. We're going to make our way to seeing the events of the second day of the Battle of Gettysburg. You will see that on the next video. So it is the same day for me, different video and day for you. I have my work cut out for me, but we're going to get it done. Until the next episode of this Gettysburg series, keep preserving history. Stay safe. We'll see you soon.